So Brad, you've been interested in learning this Gypsy style guitar for a while. There's a lot of elements to actually just the tone of it. One of them is this pick. Most of the players use very, very thick picks.
That's much thicker than mine.
Yeah, this is about a 3.5 mil pick.
That's your quarter pounder pick, right?
Yeah, that is. So play a little bit on your guitar with that pick and you'll see what you're using.
A chord or?
Sure, just anything just to show the tone of the... Yeah, try with this one.
Man, that's huge. Is all I'm saying.
It's huge. It gives you a lot of
mid-range,
of sound.
Punch.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's one element. You can keep that if you like.
Man.
Another element is the guitar itself.
Right.
You're playing on a flat top, which certainly you can play this kind of music on a flat top. But this style of guitar is probably more designed for it. But let's let everybody hear a little bit of the tone of these guitars. First of all, this is, as you can see, is a D-hole Selmer guitar from the early 30s, designed by Mario McAfee, and it's got a really big sound.
It cuts.
You notice that I'm keeping my hand in between the sound hole and the bridge.
Right.
Closer to the bridge than the sound hole. If you get up by the sound hole, it gets too flappy. Back here, you get a lot of attack, and a lot of body. And with this heavy pick,
it's. Can I hear the guitar with this one?
Sure.
See the difference, just for giggles. There's a little mid thing that's missing.
It's harder to get the volume out. With that, I don't have to try too hard to get volume with a heavier pick like that. So, and as you notice, I'm playing all closed chords.
Right.
As opposed to bluegrass and folk music, you really want the ringing open strings. Like that. For Gypsy jazz rhythm style, you really want the chords to be closed, and we can start. Let's just start with your basic bar chords,
okay?
Because those work really well.
Now I notice you're pulling off and choking in between beats.
That's right, because otherwise, here's what it sounded like if I didn't.
Movement.
And also with the right hand on the on beats, I play more on the bass strings.
Okay.
Not just a strict.
You're grabbing 2 or 3.
Yep.
You're getting 2 or 3 at a time.
And then the 2 and 4, the off beats, I'm hitting a full and a very snappy kind of a wrist. With the pick pretty much parallel to the face of the guitar. It's hard to play this kind of rhythm if the pick's too angled.
So you're keeping the pick at a straight.
Pretty much.
That's
Yeah.
straight distance to that. That's interesting.
You know,
That's
it's
interesting.
not strict, but
Right.
so play a little bit of that rhythm. Now see if you can differentiate a little bit more between the on beat and the off beat. Great.
Wow.
Now, let's just grab this chord. Bar chords work fine, but sometimes they're not so easy to keep bouncing like that all the time. You know, lifting up all the time. So, the same chord, we're just using basically the middle strings. Same.
Right.
And if you want, you can grab the low with your thumb.
Okay.
Now that voicing is much, much easier to kind of bounce because you're just gripping against your palm.
Yeah, it's almost, you've got a percussive rhythm thing going there as well as the chord voicing, which is really, really cool. It's almost a snare.
Yeah. Well, in most string bands, gypsy jazz string bands, there is no drum. So the rhythm guitar has to act as the drum, and it's really, really the crucial part of the whole vibe, really.
It's the heartbeat, yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. So you're getting a good rhythm and a good sound on that guitar, but it's tonally, it's not really perfect
Well, I mean,
for this.
from your opinion, does it have too many lows? Too many, I mean,
Well, I wouldn't say too many of anything, but a dreadnought guitar is got a really big bass,
Right.
and it's got a sparkly high. It doesn't have a lot in the upper mid-range, and this type of guitar does have a lot of
it
mid-range.
definitely cuts. It's
Yeah.
got that mid.
It's a big mid-range, which makes it poppy.
Yeah.
And it's also, I don't know if you can tell, but the face is a little bit domed.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a.
It's pressed to braces that have an arch on them.
Okay.
So it's not a carved arch top and it's not a flat top.
But it
It's
gives it a
pressed,
little bit of a spring.
a little bit of a dome.
Right.
So yeah, so it's like a springboard. So play a little bit more rhythm on that guitar. All right, now play it on this one.
Yeah, this thing feels totally different. Holy. Wow.
So already you sound a good percentage more gypsy jazz.
Jeez. Amazing. Wow. And I noticed the necks are it's a flatter neck. The whole thing is just totally
Very much 2x4-ish neck. Yeah.
But it feels good for this.
This one is too.
Is it the style of that? I mean, that goes along with this guitar? Or?
Well, when these guitars were first made, there wasn't adjustable truss rods. There's graphite or aluminum rods in the neck for stability, but they still felt like they needed a good bit of wood to keep the neck stable.
Oh, man, that's interesting.
So,
Wow.
so
Wow.
you got a nice. Say we're in the key of G. You got a nice 1 chord. We'll call this G, the 1 chord.
Okay.
The reason we call it the 1 chord is because it starts on the first degree of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Right.
So we're using the 1, then a 5, then another 1, then a 3, then a 5, another 9 and 1 if we want. We're concentrating on the middle strings.
Much easier to hop this. To vamp, it's much easier to choke with that position than this one.
Yeah, it's a lot of work because you're grabbing every time with that. This one, you're just gonna let your fingers bounce.
Now notice you're not posting. You're floating the right hand.
Yeah.
And I post. Most flat pickers post
For
a lot here.
I mean, obviously, everybody picks a little bit differently,
Sure.
and there's no hard and fast rules. But for playing this kind of rhythm, it would be hard to post because you really need to move your
You don't
arm.
have the motion.
Yeah, in order order to swing.
But when you're, can you do some rhythm and a little bit of lead? And I want to see your right hand and see if it's still floating. Still floating.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why using a heavy pick, you can get a lot of power from the pick itself. Using a thinner pick, sometimes you need to anchor your hand just to get enough power.
Sure, to get the
some
balance.
volume out of it. Yeah. So,
well, that hole's got a round hole, and it sounds loud too.
Yeah. Well, this guitar that you're playing, it's like I said, is a early 30s Selmer McAfee designed guitar. It originally had an internal sound chamber, which has been taken out. But the guitars, it's a 12 fret to the body, and the guitars like that, with the big D hole, tend to have a very full bottom end. And
more low end here than there.
Although Django did play this guitar for the first 3 or 4 years of his recording career.
Wow.
He then switched to this guitar when it came out in the later 30s, 38, 39. It has 14 frets to the body, a very long scale.
From what he was used to on this one.
Yeah, this is a 12 fret
and as
scale.
in the photo, the two rhythm guys had the Ds, he had the round hole.
Well, at being the lead player, he would have the newest model.
Right.
But
okay.
and since that photo, and because of the tonality of these are fuller, the D-hole model is a little bit fuller, people tend to use them for rhythm more. They're a nice big full rhythm sound. And this guitar with the extra string scale and the small oval hole, it tends to be a little brighter, not quite so full,
cutting
through for lead. So
awesome.
It's tradition and it's also function, but it's not to say that lead can't sound great on a D hole or rhythm can't sound great on an oval hole. It's just tradition.
Yeah, that's great.
So let's learn a blues progression, and we'll use all closed chord voicings.
Okay.
So which means we're going to stay away from the open strings, but we'll stay down here in the key of G.
And I guess to flat pickers, this would be an F position.
Yeah, sure. F position moved up
because a lot of
twice.
of guys would see that as a full F.
Yeah, sure.
Traditionally speaking, I guess.
So there's your one chord, and the blues progression, as you probably know, is a 1, 4, and a 5, built on the first, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fourth, and the fifth degrees of the scale. So we'll use this voicing for our one chord.
Okay.
And let's use a 7 chord for the 4. This C7. And we'll use D7.
Okay, pretty simple.
Right. So let's play the blues progression like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So,
sounds good on this guitar.
It does.
Sounds right.
Well, let's do that again, and I'll play a little bit of lead and see how you do with rhythm on your own. 1, 2, 1. Great.
That's great.
Okay, so now we'll add a couple of chords to it. First movement we'll do is just on the C chord, the C7, and on the D7, we'll rock the bass back and forth like this. And on the D7.
So I want to ask a question. When you're grabbing those notes, you're not trying to actually hit that note singly. You know, when you're going down, you're not trying to aim, and you're strumming at it, but your force is intended for that.
Yeah.
But then you grab a couple of the strings and you're with it. Right. It's a little looser thought than
Right.
than that. Okay.
Right. It's the same idea, but just with a little more mess in it.
Right. Gotcha.
So, let's play that progression one
Okay.
time. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So now we can add. Let's add this chord into the mix. This is a G9.
Nice.
All right. Because we're adding a 7th and a 9th just for a minute, but it leads nicely up to the 4.
Okay. So
So it would be, we would put it in.
nice. Nice.
All right, so now we're going to add a C sharp diminished chord.
Okay.
After the C chord, we'll split the C. It's like we were sitting on it for 2 bars.
Right.
So first one, we will play the C7. And we'll play this chord. Yep, that's right.
Are you hitting one note back here? Okay, gotcha.
Just the middle 4 strings, actually.
And I guess it's all of just getting your fingers to a situation where they know the feel of that position,
Yeah.
so you get comfortable with it. Nice.
That's right.
Nice. Okay.
So now we have.
Yeah, great.
Excellent.
Wow.
Okay, so now we're going to add.
Moving right along.
We're going to add a couple more chords now. This time, after we're going to add an E7, right, and an A. Okay.
Okay.
I'll show you where. We're going to put them in. Now E. Now A. E.
Wow. Cool. That's
So
great.
now we're going to rock a little back. It's how we were rocking on the C and the D chord. We're going to have a little move on the G chord since we're sitting on it so long.
Right. That's after.
So-
Is that after the?
No, we're just going to do it right at the beginning.
Gotcha.
And what you do is just take this chord and move it closer to you.
Okay.
So you move it 1 string lower in pitch,
Okay.
right?
What,
So-
now these others are they muted?
Right. You don't
Okay.
want to hit those.
Gotcha.
So you just want to lift these bottom 4. And what it is, you have a D chord here. Here's your root,
Right.
your low 5th, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then you have an augmented.
Okay.
Here would be,
Right. Okay.
all right, so you got a D augmented.
That sounds great.
So, and it's nice when you just rock back and forth.
Wow.
So we're getting busy.
Yes.
You know, we're getting busy with our chords. Let's do that progression one more time,
Okay.
and I'll call out these chords. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, D augmented, G, G9, C, C sharp diminished, D.
go to.
Yeah.
What'd you do between when you came back out of the? And,
Did I do that?
no, you did and then back to the one, but you did a different kind of a term. Yeah, what'd you do?
Okay, I didn't hit
Gotcha.
that. I just,
Okay. Yeah, just kept the same.
yeah.
Okay. And then that's the only chord I need to get. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. Wow, we've got a full brigade of chords here now.
All right, now we're going to change that C7 to a C6,
Okay.
which looks like this.
Wow. Now you're I guess however it's comfortable to grab, right? Because that's
All right. Yeah, if you do that, sure.
okay.
Yeah. It's just like your open C chord.
Right.
When you play an A on the second fret of the G
Okay.
string.
Where's that gonna go?
That'll be instead of the C7.
Okay.
So now we're going to go G,
Can we go a little slower when we change? Just for right.
D diminished, I mean D augmented,
Right.
sorry. G, and then G9, C6, C sharp diminished, G, E7,
Nice.
A, D7, G,
And then you're gonna
D augmented.
nice. That's great, man.
That's another augmented D.
You're grabbing the 3.
And one reason why Django would use this chord a lot is because his left hand had been deformed in a fire, and these two fingers stayed back like that all the time.
Right.
He couldn't straighten them out. But
They fit
he could
that
lay
chord
down,
perfectly.
lay it down on the fretboard.
Wow. So, can we run over that again?
Yeah, let's go over that one more time. So, G, D, augmented, G,
Nice.
G9, C6, C sharp diminished, G, E7, A, D7.
And back. Or the one you hit.
There you
Wow.
go. So let's play that progression in rhythm. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Wow.
Very good.
Once you
So-
know the map, if you get the left hand to know the map, and this just keeps chugging the rhythm, it'll be more comfortable.
Yeah.
The
And
confidence
you
level
don't.
will
You're
be
not
up.
going to always be doing all those moves either. You know, you want to use them judiciously.
Or maybe alternate them.
Yeah, or
Back and forth.
add them as the song goes on.
Okay.
Build a little bit more tension.
It's great.
So let's do the same thing in a minor.
Okay.
So we'll start out with G minor. I'm going to switch guitars just for fun.
Okay.
These are both very old, very rare, and very expensive guitars. But we're lucky now that in the last few years, some affordable guitars
That's a
of this
beautiful
type.
guitar.
Isn't that pretty?
I must ask a question about the bridge.
Okay.
Some are in line and some are moved, and I guess that's for intonation.
Yeah, the intonation was not perfect when it was set in line with these.
Well, at least.
And this is actually a prototype guitar from Saga.
Gotcha.
And after I pointed that out, they wait now to glue these mustache pieces on until I get the bridge. So that
Well, you got a special
will be
one,
in line.
and it's still got the same curve. It's still got a little bit of a curve, I can tell.
Yeah. It's basically the same design. It's maple
That is
veneer on the back
beautiful.
sides. And
And it's not slotted. I mean,
no, Saga patterned this guitar after a maple Selmer, and they made very few of them, but the maple Selmers all had a solid headstock, so it's a copy of that.
what do you prefer?
I like all guitars. It's I want every guitar that I see. So. But this one is called a D250M, and it's made by Saga, and it's very affordable and a wonderful sounding and playing guitar.
That's great. God, what a great sound.
So minor key stuff is really important in the Gypsy Jazz. I mean, a lot of the sound is minor key. So let's start with a blues, minor blues.
All right.
And
Same basic
again,
concept.
We'll start in our G minor down here. So just remove that finger.
Wow.
So, easy. C minor bar chord. C minor bar D7.
Right. Great.
So,
It seems easy because it's applied to the same thing. To the
Same-
minor. So
same
it
form,
feels
right.
a little bit more comfortable than I thought it would be. That's good.
so we'll start adding a few things. So right away, we're going to go back and forth.
Ah.
Just these three notes.
That's nice.
All right, we'll start talking about the three-note chords. That'll
Okay.
be good for the blues progression. This is a G minor 6.
Wow, that's
It's called
nice.
a minor 6 because you've got G, you've got your minor third, and you're adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the sixth degree of the scale.
Yeah.
And a lot of the tonality of this music has that minor 6th in
Yeah.
it. When songs are in minor keys, you rarely would sit on it on a minor 7.
Right.
Instead of minor 6. And if you want to add this in there, you can do that as well.
And this string here, the fifth one, is muted.
Yep.
Okay.
Just move it up. All right. Now watch this.
That's nice.
So you got G minor 6, C minor 6,
Nice.
D7.
And did you have a little transition?
Right.
So what are we doing?
That can walk up to the.
I gotcha.
That can walk up to the C minor. So start down here, G minor 6, D7 with the A in the bass, another G minor with the B flat in the bass,
Gotcha. Nice. That's a nice transition
a B,
from the...
B diminished,
Wow.
right? And you just slide up.
Bill Monroe wouldn't care for that chord, would he?
No, he and it leads to your C minor 6.
Right. So can we do that again slow? Wow, that's nice.
Now, if you notice, you're only changing your position one time.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, John. Yeah.
And you can do that on the C minor too.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. And what do you... Yeah. That's nice.
So
Wow.
you can play a whole blues progression in minor with some nice passing chords, just really sticking almost to this
Right.
one shape.
Then you can do that. Right.
So you're walking up to the C minor 6, right?
Gotcha. That's great. That's great. 3 fingers.
So play a little. We'll play a little bit. I'll play a little bit of lead to that and see how
Okay.
it feels. 1, 2, 1, 2.
I missed a few.
No, that's great though. I mean, you're picking this up really, really fast. And I hope we're not moving too fast for everybody watching, but
Wow.
they can
That
rewind
is so
and
neat, man. And then the transition up is almost the same.
sing. It's basically you're just spreading that a little bit.
Wow. That's great, man. It seems attainable, to get just, you're starting off with something and you're able to play it. So it's really neat.
So you can fill out the chords if you like. Yeah.
Right. Oh, because that was right. That was the...
And then this is kind of a nice chord.
That's nice.
That's again a G minor 6. You go with the third, the B flat, and the bass. The third, the root, the fifth, and the sixth.
Yeah, that's great.
And then that's right. And then
Same thing we had.
yeah, same thing there. Yep. And then
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Wow. It's great. Okay. Wow. For a flat picker who's never done this, it's a lot to think about.
yeah. As opposed to bluegrass where you're staying really you stay more still on the chord, so you don't move around so much, and you only
Right.
move in the bass sometimes.
Sure.
These ones, you do your movements with the whole chord. And you don't always have to. You know,
Right.
you can.
Like you said,
can just-
judicially pick your spots.
Yeah, and you can, and it sounds just great to just sit on that too.
That's great.
Now, here's a nice chord that you can do. It's a nice ending chord. You want to get your thumb around the bottom, and then you got your middle finger is covering 2.
Wow. That's great. That's where they serve the wine on that chord.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. Man, that's
And that's a G minor 6/9. So you've got your
6/9.
your root, 5th, root again, minor 3rd, 6, and then 9.
And that would be a good one to end that minor. Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
And of course, you can use it up here in the C.
Wow.
Nice chord, yeah. Now,
Man, that's
just take that chord and just move your first finger up 1, and you have a nice major 6/9 chord.
yeah. And for somebody who doesn't use a thumb, which most bluegrassers don't, that'll be a
Get
little bit
used
of a
to it.
curve. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure Django used his thumb more because of
He
less
didn't
use of
have
his
the-
fingers.
Wow.
And so you'll see that the shapes of these chords are a lot of that. You know.
Very similar.
Yeah, the fingers are in those shapes. So, an example of a handicap creating a style.
Right.
Which is amazing. A lot of these chords.
So when he could probably use his thumb, he would obviously
Yeah.
take advantage, and bring it up and use it.
Yep.
Wow. Man, this guitar just has it just cuts.
It does have a great sound.
Wow. It's amazing. Who would have
Now
thought?
let's talk about maybe some fast rhythm. And when you're playing, we'll stay in the key of G. When you're playing really fast rhythm, you don't have time to move away from the string so much.
No,
You need
yeah.
to keep your stroke really, really tight.
Can you do that strum really slow? I mean, the zoom, jack, zoom. You're kitchen up every now and then. Just
Okay,
an
I'll
up
do it
every now
strictly
and
with
then.
no ups.
Okay.
Well, not so strict.
Right.
But I'll add the ups in.
It gives it that shuffle feel.
And the up is to be really, really quiet.
Gotcha.
Otherwise,
it's a
it
ghost.
starts to sounding like. And it's also the upbeat happens when my fingers are lifted.
Gotcha. So it's a ghosted rhythm thing.
Right. Now, sometimes if you want to get really wild with the rhythm,
Right.
and you might do that just on an out chorus, just to make it kind of more intense. But for clean,
Right.
and I'm moving quite a bit, but if it's very
if you
fast,
wow. That's the slow stuff, obviously, since I haven't done it yet or done it before, I can kind of grasp that. The fast thing will have to come with a little bit of time.
Yeah. The same thing.
I have to get that and this vamping at the same time on the ghosted note.
Well, like with all things, just practice it slow.
Right.
Just notice that when you speed up, the faster you play, the less movement there can be.
Everything
up and down.
gets.
You know, if it's very slow.
Right. A lot of swing, a lot of movement.
Because there's time in between the beats.
Right.
But when you can't be up here.
You're definitely tighter in the position. Wow.
So,
That's some right hand technique.
Any questions about?
The only thing, when you switch back and forth into you're doing a chunk, every time you do a hiccup in there, that's different than the upbeat.
Yeah.
It's I'm not sure how to. Right. Together.
Yeah, it's to kind of push the beat along.
Right. It gives it a good feel.
Again, it needs to be judicious.
Slow it down.
What I do is just accent. It's an accent I'll play. I mean, that's without the accent.
Right. And you're down on your fingers here. Right, okay.
And I think
That creates a nice feel. And you don't do it all the time. You just pick and choose where you want it to fall.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like what a drummer would do to just kick the tempo along a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that little jump in the snare beat.
Now this guitar.
Interesting.
This is a DuPont guitar, which I was talking about the sound chamber
Yeah,
before.
that's.
This one has a sound chamber in it. It's an extra box that sits under the face.
Is it in that? It's that big inside.
Yeah, I mean it almost touches the back. And, like if you saw it from the side, it would come down like this and up. So it does. It connects here and here.
Is it a
Here,
ply
here.
material or?
Well, so you can see the back. That's the back of it right there. It's spruce.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
So it's like a second soundboard in a way,
But
and then there's a scoop
You've got to.
that brings the sound out. Now you'd think that this would make it louder. It doesn't particularly. It just alters the tone a bit.
A lot of deepness to it.
It's nice and dry. And
Yeah,
it's
it
tight.
is.
It's good for rhythm.
Yeah. That's great, man.
I mean, action and setup. I mean, as far as the strings, you don't want them too low because then you'll get flappy and you're not going to be able to drive the box too much. The strings that most people use on these type of guitars.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
There's the winding is silver-plated copper, and it's on a steel core.
Right, standard.
Yeah, but the copper is a very soft metal, and so the strings do tend to get pitted out
From the frets.
from
right.
the frets quite a bit.
Where do you get those strings at? I mean,
You can find them online, different string companies. The kind of the granddaddy company is called Savarez, and the type of strings they're called Argentine, Savarez Argentines.
I've seen that ad. I think I've seen them advertised before. Yeah.
But now a lot of other companies make them as well. Del Arte makes a nice string. John
And so
Pierce.
if you put a set of phosphor on there, it just wouldn't. Even though the guitar is the guitar for the, it just wouldn't give you.
What it does, the phosphor bronze strings on these type of guitars, they sound a little bit harsh and clacky, and they even constrict the face a little bit unless you put very light ones on.
Wow.
Now all of these are strung with pretty light strings.
I was going to ask, are they? Yeah. What's the
This
E?
is a 10 or 11.
Okay.
You know, they're 10 or 11 sets. That's probably an
But
11.
they don't hinder it from any sound. The light gauge.
No, the light actually allows this arch to.
Yeah.
You know, too heavy of strings on this kind of guitar will give too much down pressure, and will choke it out.
And it needs to float.
That's why it's different than a flat top, which with the X bracing and the bridge, which sends the vibrations out.
Right.
This does it. You know, gets a lot of the sound from the flex of the arch.
Right.
So, as I said, John Pierce makes a set of these called Nuage. Golly is an Italian string that makes them. I believe Pyramid makes some. There's a German company called Lenzner. They're quite nice. So,
wow,
you can find them.
They have a unique sound. I mean, they really.
Yeah, they do this. The strings themselves. I mean, if you put them on a Martin or a Dreadnought, it would sound different as well. It would sound a little bit sweeter, probably, and not quite as.
Well, I think
hefty.
with the thickness of the neck, if the strings the way they are, it's a good balance. If you had heavy, tight strings,
it would be
it'd
not
be
very forgiving.
It'd
to
be a
your
tough
left
job.
hand. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. These strings are also flexible. They're not too hard to bend.
No, they're not. They're really.
We've been talking about some rhythm things, and of course the rhythm is really the most important thing. Everything's built on that. So we're just going to play on a G chord.
Keep it simple
feel.
for me. Yeah.
Yep, just on a G, and play a very slow feel, and speed it up a little bit, and speed it up a little bit more.
Okay.
So we'll start about here. You step it up. Now let's speed it up. Now let's speed it up a little bit more. So while you were
Wow.
chugging away on that rhythm, I was throwing in a few different things that you can do to kind of spice up the rhythm.
Yeah, you were countering.
Yeah,
The
playing
beat.
off beats. Sometimes just playing a big old downbeat chord with a little bit of a rake. And when raking, I tend to use my other fingers before the pick.
Oh, so you finish with the pick.
Right.
Wow. But are you able to grab the sixth even though you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of run.
We should be
Without the
fighting
pick.
bulls. I got you. But the pick gives it that extra step.
Yeah. Gives you a lot of power.
Wow, that's nice.
Now you can do that on octaves.
So you can play melody at the same time.
Yeah.
That's a nice effect.
And
Golly.
just raking the chord a little bit. Don't do the strum too fast, like that, but dig in.
Gotcha.
Like get that low. Now grab that low G with your thumb.
Oh. Wow.
Now notice that you're kind of tilting like this.
Yeah, that's the old bluegrass. Yeah.
Try to keep it a little bit more parallel to the guitar.
Big
And you'll
difference.
get
in it.
you'll
Yeah.
get a bigger sound.
That's definitely the old hat for the flat. Yeah, right there.
Right. If you bring the arm around a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
And of course a tremolo.
Yeah, so you're. Wow. And so, but you're gaining a little bit of a. Wow.
So all of those little effects and high voicings. Octaves.
Wow. It's almost like a horn section.
Yeah. Yep. Trombones. Trumpets. Now, usually if the rhythm player is strictly playing rhythm, they'll leave those kind of things to the lead player. If they're the only rhythm player or the only guitar, then, go
Right.
ahead.
Or you could add that into some of your lead playing
Oh, yeah.
as you got more
Definitely.
advanced.
Definitely.
Now, for me, I mean, starting out on this, it would be best just to hang with a basic chunk
Yep.
and then maybe work on these things on the side, but maybe add them in as I got more
Yeah,
confident
so
with
if
my
you're playing
basic.
along.
Gotcha. Wow, even that gives a nice effect.
So
Really nice.
So, for let's talk a little bit about some of the lead playing. We'll just stay right here in this good old key of G. A lot of the lead playing is based around arpeggios.
Okay.
And
Now, to somebody who doesn't know what arpeggio is,
okay, well,
I'm fairly familiar
we talked earlier about the chords being made up of different degrees of the scale.
right,
The 1, the 3, and the 5.
right.
And then adding, like here's the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So you adding things. An arpeggio is when you play just those chord tones. You don't play a scale. You just skip 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1.
Okay.
So that's a G major arpeggio.
Okay.
So now here's a nice shape. Now we'll think of this kind of like a high C position. If somebody was to capo here on the 7th fret, right?
Right.
Now again, Django using only 2 fingers.
Gotcha. So
here's your root tone, your 1, okay?
So it's like a D chord.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. D shape moved from.
Right. Excellent. We're still in the key of G.
But you're using this your middle finger on the root. All right.
What's your last one? Okay. Okay.
So now just use those 2 fingers only.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah.
Now I know how Django felt. So you could play a solo off that whole position there.
Yeah.
And you could at least start there.
Yep.
And
So if you were going to play rhythm.
that's great.
So,
And I noticed the notes are short. There, some of them are, that style is, they're real short.
well, yeah, I mean, you don't have a lot of sustain, so
Right.
you're going to use it, again, judiciously.
Right.
So now, we're going to use those notes. Now let's just use, well, we use, right? And now we're going to use the notes 1 fret below each one of those as well.
Okay.
Right? Right?
Okay.
So, give me the rhythm again, and I'll show you what we can do to.
That's great. So you're just going down a half step off the
Another
note.
half step off the nose. Right.
Which just expands the whole. Wow. So it gives you a whole, just more selection.
So try playing a little bit of lead like that.
Oh, all right. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
So now we're going to add a couple other tones. We're going to add 2 frets above the note.
Oh, I got you. So it'd be. No?
On the middle 2
It'd be
notes. just one fret on the high, right?
Okay.
So a little bit.
I'll
of
do a
rhythm.
little bit.
Yeah. Okay, now I added.
Okay, one more time on that, just so I can have it when you. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
So you can do a
That's
little.
great, John. And so you're doing a pull off.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Nice.
The same thing each.
Right. Is that a typical Django phrase, or I mean, is it? That's great.
Those kind of turns and trills. Yeah, definitely. Now, I just added a bend in there.
Yeah, which put a lot of color in the.
Now, that's a note that we've already been using, right?
Right.
The A. And I'm
Yes.
bending up into it from one fret lower.
Wow, that's nice. Wow. Nice. That's great.
So, now we're just staying all in this little box here.
Right, you haven't moved out of the 4-5 fret position.
And it's all built around that. Now, here's a nice thing you can do. Now that gives you a little right hand and left hand to work out. So, now,
So you're doing all. So you're doing
it's
all down. Right?
down, up.
Wow. And with 2 fingers is Django probably.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yes. So you're starting here in this slide up with a downstroke. Down, down, up.
Okay. Wow, I see how it would feel. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you got it. Yeah.
And then you do a hammer, pull. Yeah.
Do you hit that note?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, you doing up on that? No? Or... Oh. I got you. Down, down.
You can do that down on the last.
Wow, that's nice. Using the 2 fingers, you have to really plan out. Wow. Yeah, it's great.
So another thing that you can do that's really fun and easy while this rhythm's going along, you just play your open strings. you can then add unison. So you're playing an E here and here.
Right.
Now, if you want to make it sound a little bit more colorful,
Right.
you can add some dissonance. So,
Wow, that's great.
so that's an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I mean the open strings and then using.
You can play eighth notes, tremolo,
Right.
slide.
Yeah, I had not thought of doing that with the G.
So try playing a little bit of chorus. You play the lead,
On the open.
just using your open strings.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow, it feels awkward.
Yeah, it
It
does.
feels awkward.
Because you want to move around, don't you?
Yeah, it's tough.
Okay, so let's try this now. Starting from your open, you go up chromatic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just using that same position.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So it's very easy. You're just climbing up. Now you skip the first fret in this one.
Right. So. And you could alter those. I mean, however you want it to.
Yeah.
The tremolo. Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
So now we've got a couple of different places you can play.
All right, we got the E position, G, and then the open. Right. Right. So you want to put all those three together?
Okay.
All rhythm? Yeah. Wow, that's great. And it's a lot. 3 spots to go to, so it creates a lot of area to play in. I mean.
So now let's move one up from here.
So it's based on the
It's right around your middle G.
right. Wow. So starts our 4th spot.
Again, just 2 fingers.
Wow.
And now you can go down to the open.
Right.
Do
And pick up that other part.
So some those tones, they added. You were playing a D7 at that point, and I added an F and an E flat, which made the D7 turn into a D7 plus 9.
Wow.
There's your plus 9.
Oh, gotcha.
And then flat 9.
Oh, gotcha. That's nice. It doesn't seem, when you're explaining like that, the way you're showing me the areas to play in, it just seems simpler. I mean, it seems like, wow, I can do the open,
Right.
I can do the, I mean, it's.
And you can do down
it's a-
here. Here, let's get that. Now again, that's another G major arpeggio. G, B, D, G.
I'll do a little rhythm for you.
So now we've got a bridge.
Right. Oh, I see. It connects right into the D position. Yeah,
Right.
nice.
So once we get up there, we'll be in a familiar territory.
Nice. Yeah.
So
but-
now we can start all the way. Now, if we want to repeat what we learned down here, up here. Now, 12th fret,
Okay.
everything starts over. It's the same as down here, just sounds an octave higher.
Right.
So, can do that here. Does that make sense?
Yes. It does. There's a skip here, and we got
Just like we
we got a whole step, almost a full.
Right.
Right. That makes sense. Yes. Wow.
So now we can go all the way from here.
That's the same. Yeah. Wow. That's great, man. That is
So now,
fantastic.
you can also do that.
You joined in with that. Right, okay. You're tying them all together.
So now we've got stuff all the way from
Man.
down here.
Now, I want to clarify that right there.
So we were looking over here before.
Right.
We're just moving it 12 frets up.
Right.
Same fingers.
So you're doing a da-da, you're doing a hammer to pull off. Wow. Almost
Yeah.
sounds, wow. Wow.
Now, obviously, this cutaway is it's not quite so easy to play because
It's
you
a
got
12,
only
right?
12 frets of
Okay,
the body.
right. And you've got a 14.
Right.
Right.
So I got a little bit more room there.
Wow.
So.
And these are a mixture. I mean, because you got a scale, you got some scale.
Okay, this is
Some
a
scale.
chromatic, broken up chromatic scale.
Okay. Okay.
Now, a full chromatic scale.
Right. Which would be another thing to add in
Sure.
to the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you can even start the chromatic scale on the very bottom. You can go all the way up.
Okay.
Now, if you want to get really tricky, you can play really fast. So, now, we were doing this, right?
Right. Right. You just found it down the neck.
So, yeah, here it is. Sounding the same as there.
Right.
12th fret, D string.
Now, since you're plugging and pulling these out and putting them in different spots, this particular position here that you have would be great for in the key of D.
Exactly.
Once they switch,
move this stuff anywhere.
That's great.
So, say we're tired of G,
Right.
because we've been in it for a few hours now.
Right.
Now we want to go down to F.
You're right. We got the same.
Now, the chromatics is not going to be. We'll have them up here.
Right.
Of course, we don't have 2 extra frets down here to do them.
Right.
We could figure them out, but that might be a little bit tricky for right now. But we still do have
Right. Right.
and an octave higher.
Easier for me to grab. F. Yeah. Wow.
Now let's take that. Let's take that and we'll expand it a little bit more.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
So now we're in F.
You could vary a creative flat, sharp note. Yeah. You give the same structure,
Right.
same phrasing. Man, you've kind of given me some hope. I've always wanted to dive into this, and this is like some easy tips. I'm like,
So that's a really nice pattern there.
yeah, that's great.
So if you find your root note, let's move out of F just to see if people can figure this out. Let's move down to D, say,
Okay.
and let's find the D note that's in the middle of all that stuff.
Okay.
So where would you think that would be?
You mean tonal wise?
Just in the middle of the neck, kind of everything in the middle. Exactly. That's it. All right. So let's start from there. All right.
Right.
All right. So now just solo a little bit, just using those.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. now we'll expand that out a little bit more, right?
Oh, you're doing the pull off there as well. I
You can do
got
those
you.
pull-offs everywhere if you like.
Wow.
All right, so we.
Wow, using 2 fingers too. Wow. Okay. Okay.
All right. So 2, 3, 4. Okay, well now we'll expand it down a little bit, all right? So we have all these notes. Right? Okay. And you notice that we're traveling up and down the fretboard. I mean, actually across the strings as opposed to up and down this way,
Yes. Yeah.
which with the 2 fingers is easy.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
a good thing. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Okay.
2, 3, 4.
It's unusual because I normally wouldn't choose notes like that and regular flat picking. I mean, I just wouldn't, you know. But it's just a whole new thing.
So let's take it down one more.
Wow.
You have to position shift, okay?
One more time. Okay, gotcha. No,
That's right.
right? Oh, so you're just sliding.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Now, you don't have to just use 2 fingers, but this is just showing you ways that you can.
Right,
Use
and
just
it's
2 fingers.
simplest.
Yeah, simple. So now you got a lick that goes all the way
Right.
across the neck. And it's not too hard. You have one position change.
Wow. That's awesome.
So, now using just those notes,
Okay.
it's kind of one-dimensional a little bit, right?
Right.
Because they're all in the same kind of tonality.
Correct.
So now let's throw some notes in between.
Okay.
So
To get up to one of the notes. So you're just using notes to walk it in between
in
them.
between the
Right.
notes that you already got. So play a little rhythm and I'll show how.
Yeah. That's great.
So now you try that, where you're still in your same pattern, but you've got these notes in between.
In between the layout of the original notes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Phew. Okay.
Now
Novice.
1, 2,
here.
3.
amazing.
That's great.
That's amazing.
So now
Just
you
knowing
work
where to
that.
go, man. Just knowing where to.
Now let's see if we wanted to move that to the key of C.
Okay.
Yep.
Come down a whole
Start
step.
in let's start in the middle, say.
Okay.
Find your middle C.
I'll see it.
Remember where your middle D was. There you go. So then you.
Right. Well, that's good, giving me the point of reference to start from, because I may have grabbed, because that was, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's good to know the notes on your fretboard.
Yeah.
And for this kind of concept, what I'm talking about now, we're probably talking about the root note to be on the G string.
Okay.
All right?
Gotcha.
So let's play a progression where we're in C for 2 bars and then D for 2 bars.
Okay.
All right? And just stay in you're going to play the lead.
I'm playing the lead. Okay.
You stay in those 2 boxes, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Very good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Wow, that's amazing.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It's the same. It's the same thing, but the middle notes give it such more color. It just gives it. That
Those are your
extra,
color
yeah.
notes. Okay, so now do you remember in the key of G where our spots were?
Yes.
All right, so now you've got G, and we've got a C, and
Right.
we've got a D.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to play a blues progression, which is those 3 chords, G,
Okay.
C, and D. And see how you do finding your way around those 3 chords.
Wow. Okay.
All right?
All right.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
A little bit of trouble. I'm trying to remember where I was at. You just learned how to play the blues rhythm and a few different positions for leads. And it gets you all the way from the bottom to the top. Yeah. I mean, if you go over the basic ones that you said without the in-between notes on the C and the D first, which is I'm going to probably do.
Yep.
I'm going to get those down first and get them in my mind where I can just run through those, as boring as and one-dimensional as they sound.
Well, it gives you your target.
Yeah, it gives you the
and
framework.
then you can put all the different color
Right.
if you want.
And then you add those little half steps, and it's pretty neat.
Another thing that's really nice and not too difficult is on the C chord, or C7, if you play a G minor,
In place?
no, over the top of it as on the lead,
Oh, I gotcha.
right?
Okay.
The G minor on the C adds the 7th and the 9th. So here's, like, just by itself, here's G minor. And now play a C against it.
You mean like a
So your C7.
oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So I'll show you how. Just here we are with our G, right? We need to take that note down
Yeah.
1 fret.
Which would be a
G
D,
minor.
a D. Thought of a D minor move down,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
It almost seems like using the 2 fingers and not multiple fingers gives you the short, because you're coming off. I mean, I'm watching you, and you don't have a lot of time to stay and sustain on some of those. You're moving.
Yeah.
Wow, that's neat.
So play the blues again, and I'll just, instead of going to a C shape, I'll go to a G minor
Over the C.
over the C
C7,
chord.
okay.
You'll see how it sounds.
Wow. Yeah, you're using the elements that we went over plus the minor. That's great.
Right. Now, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, you're and it probably expands from there as you did with the low. You
Yeah.
started high. Oh, I got you. Okay. They change a little.
Yep.
Right.
You just change your thirds. So on a B, on a G
Wow.
minor, or from the G you have in a G major you have a B natural, in G minor you have a B flat. So
That's nice.
try that out when you get to the 4
Okay.
chord,
Gotcha.
which is the C. Don't think about C again. Think about a G minor.
Okay.
Now, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's do a little bit simpler.
There you go. So you stayed in that high position most of the time.
Yeah, just so you can hear.
Yeah.
So you can hear that, the minor.
Right. Right. Okay.
Now, all right. So now, as we did before, we were started in major, then we moved to minor.
For the C7. Right.
Right. But now we're going to start with the minor. All
Okay.
right? G minor. And right away we're going to add another tone.
Okay.
Besides the 1, 3, and the 5.
Okay.
Root, minor, third, fifth. Right? What we're going to add right away is the 6th.
Oh wow. Okay.
So from the bottom.
Right. Wow. Wow.
Here, see this? Try it with your 2 fingers just to start out.
What you
Jump up.
doing?
Jump up there.
Oh.
Start with your middle finger. There.
Gotcha.
There.
Oh wow.
There you go.
That's much easier.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, with the 2 fingers,
So
it
you're
almost
always,
lays out.
Yep. You're always climbing up with 2 fingers and climbing back down.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Right.
So on the C7, were you still thinking G minor?
No, since now it's a C minor
Right.
is 6th.
Gotcha.
So the same as we were in the G minor with the G minor 6th. Same in the C.
Okay.
So
We're just taking it and shifting it over 1 string.
right.
Wow. But once I get the note map down, it'll be easy. Oh,
That's right.
no?
That's right. That's right. So you go. If you think about it, 1, 3, 5, 6. Again, 1, 3, 5, 6.
So those 2 are there.
Yeah. But if you're going, watch my left-hand fingering. If you start here,
Wow.
so you're
It's
always
like a-
alternating.
This is all Greek to me, you know.
So think of it, break it down a little bit. Just think. Root, third, fifth, sixth. Okay,
Okay.
that's your first pattern.
Fifth, sixth. So you just landed on the root that we started out in C.
Right. Right. Right.
Okay, it just hit home. Yeah, so that ties it. No. No. Right?
Right. But you have to set up for moving down, so.
Yeah, okay. No. You can
Okay.
tell it's new to me.
What? Okay, one more time. Watch this. Root, third, fifth, sixth.
Root third, fifth, sixth.
Right? Again. Root, third,
Same, just different octave.
fifth, sixth.
Okay, makes good sense. Yeah.
Root, third. Now, we're going to go back down.
Okay.
So, from the bottom, root, third,
Sorry.
third, fifth, sixth, root, third, fifth, sixth, root, third.
Okay. It's nice. It makes sense when you think of it that way.
So that's what I use on the C minor sixth. That kind of shape.
Now you can always add those in between notes too on that, just as you could. Okay.
So, and then on the D chord, I use a diminished
Okay.
arpeggio. Now, it's all after the first D to F sharp. Everything else is a minor third.
Okay. Wow.
And the reason why that's used on the 5 chord is that you're getting a D7 with a flat 9.
Okay.
And that's a very gypsy sounding interval.
Okay. So your advice would be get the basic ones down in the 3, G, C, and D, and then you got a lot to play on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean,
I'll
you
demonstrate
give them
that
so many
if you-
positions.
Play me as a minor blues, and I'll demonstrate that in the 1, 2, 3.
You're up in the same area you were. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So we learned before that if you're playing a blues in G again, and on the 4 chord, which is a C7, it sounded good to play a G minor figure over
Right.
that C7. Well, same thing on D7. It sounds good to play an A minor figure over that. So, just to vamp on D7 for a minute. I'll show you how it works in the blues. We'll play a little blues in G again.
Okay.
And on the 4 chord, I'll play G minor figures, and on the 5 chord, I'll play A minor 7 figures.
It works really good.
So does that make sense?
Is the interval's the same? C and the G, D and the A. Right? Just so
yes. It's yes.
Gets the same. It's just stepping up.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. You want to try doing that?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Okay. 1, 2,
okay.
3.
So in my simple way, went to just a simple minor.
Yeah, that's good because it just shows you your ear and your fingers that that can work over that.
Hang in
chord.
that area. It sounds good over there. Yeah.
Exactly. So, questions?
What would be the first thing? Since I play. I have some chops and play other types of music, but somebody that's just beginning on this, what would you suggest?
Well, certainly to practice the rhythm.
Okay.
And to practice some of these arpeggios that we talked about before. All with downstrokes to get some power.
Okay. That was
really clear.
That was something I forgot to ask, yeah. And the downstroke, why?
It gives you power,
okay.
and it gives you accuracy changing the string.
Okay.
And there's a theory about Gypsy style picking that every time you change a string, you use a downstroke.
Wow.
It's different than the alternating picking that a lot of people use.
Right.
So, if I was going to play with alternating picking, it'd be down, up, down, up, down, up. Right?
Correct.
If I wanted to do strict Gypsy picking, it would be down, up, down, down, up, down.
It creates a whole different tension.
Yes, it's a different sound, it's a different power. And you get, so if I was playing, I can sweep down with a rest stroke.
Right.
Rest stroke meaning as soon as I hit the note, I rest on the next string. So every time I'm changing strings, I use another down. It's just a powerful way to play.
Well, you have more power that way. Yeah, the
Yep.
upstroke's weaker.
And once you're on the string, you're already in position to play the upstroke.
So somebody beginning work on the rhythm and the basic arpeggios.
And accuracy of moving strings.
Well, the
You can even
arpeggios
do-
would definitely.
It'll give you that. You
Give
can
them
even
that.
do it just on open strings.
And somebody like me who plays on a regular basis and has some knowledge of the guitar, the arpeggios will give me a chance to not, to use the left hand, work it at the same time, and the right hand for the power. So down, that was my question, because I was going to do some of them up, and I'll do them down. I'll work on them down.
Yeah, usually like I say, the upstrokes in the strict picking
And the
are
strictest.
only when you're already on the string.
Okay.
So, and you notice a lot of these arpeggios, it's down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So every up, you're already hit a down on that string.
Right.
So you can speed that up really easily.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I was showing you those kind of patterns, because you can get all kinds of places over the neck.
Would you recommend working on those arpeggios with 2 fingers? When you're
I would, only because you don't have to always play with 2 fingers to play the Django style.
But it would be
But
nice.
it helps you to sight things, I
Okay.
think, because it's less confusing.
It is. I mean, when you're doing
Because
that,
if it's not this one, it's this one. And where can it go?
right. Okay.
You know, and it also, I think it tends to make you play over the guitar in a different way than if you're using all of your fingers. If using
I
all
agree.
of
It's
them,
confusing.
You tend to stay also in an area too.
Yeah. You don't move. It's not as linear, I guess.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
And another thing too about this pick, I've never used a pick like this. I mean, but I'm not sure I could get the snap, and I'm definitely gonna be using that, and when I'm trying this and trying to work on.
One nice thing about these kind of picks, these are made by a pick maker named Michelle Wiegen in Holland, Wegen, and they're molded to already have wear as if you had played them for a long time. The sides.
They've got to have.
They have angled
They've
wear.
got to have it because they're such.
They're huge, but
they're huge. I'm telling you.
There's no drag when you get them. When they're brand new, they already feel broken in. So that's one of the really nice things.
Are they easy to hang on to? I mean, do you feel like they are?
For me, they are. Now try this one because that has a dent in it.
Oh yeah.
Which is a more comfortable.
Oh wow! You gave me the
less comfortable version.
That's nice. That's not. But that one still feels good. I can hang on to this one.
Yeah.
I'm not having a problem hanging on to it. Interesting.
But these picks are. You'll notice once you're playing with a lot of power, with this kind of pick, and you go back to a pick that's very flexible, it's going to be more difficult with the accuracy because you're not only moving around to play different strings, but you're dealing with a pick that's flexing. It's not in the same place every time you play it.
Right, and
whereas these really thick ones, or thick tortoiseshell, or thick
now,
bone.
are you using this when you play not this style? You play regular acoustic?
I don't play quite as heavy, but I have a similar pick that I like for flat top, and it's again, it doesn't get drag on it. It doesn't wear much.
Same company?
Yeah, they make all different size. They make giant koto picks like this. They make small jazz picks.
Wow.
Everything, and it's an unusual material. It depends, though. I mean, for some flat top strumming kind of thing, you want a really thin pick to get a very kind of
soft,
clattery, a lot of high harmonics and that kind of thing. If it's in a country track with drums, you don't want to use a big old heavy pick.
Right.
It'll be too dark sounding. Well,
interesting. So the guitar makes all the difference.
It makes a lot of difference, and what you play on it. What you're playing on it too. I mean, as you say, the power and the tone you can get from these kind of picks is difficult from thinner ones.
I'm just surprised that small sound hole cuts.
It's not allowing as much bottom end to come out, so the mids and things are going to help it cut.
I mean, you would hear it in the jam session.
Yeah, it's the long scale too. I think that helps it cut through. And playing, you got to stay back here by the bridge. You get up in here.
Right. You need
that's as hard as I can play that. It's nothing, but if you get back here.
Man, what a bark.
Sauce. Another thing to practice is chromatics. Sliding your finger.
And having it match, that would be tough. Wow. You just have to get your timing down.
Yeah. And you can do down ones.
You know, it's easier with this. I don't know if I could do it as well with the other pick. I really don't. Because this has got, I feel the string, the contact point between the arm. It's just
Exactly, and it's not flexing at all, so it's solid. So that's, and to get those kind of runs even, so you hear every note.
It takes some work.
Yeah.
It takes, wow. Okay.
And you can target,
Oh, I got you. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. Okay, but so you got your little bridges you can hit.
Yeah.
Excellent. I've learned a lot.
Well,
you won't see me for months. I'll be buried
with guitars. All right. Well,
thanks for.
We'll leave everybody with all of the.
That's great. You want me to rhythm
ideas?
and let you do something in the G out, and they'll fade and.
Sure.